Ma'am, stop right there.
Why are you stopping me?
Because you didn't pay for those items.
These are mine. I brought these in.
They still have the store tag on them.
This is harassment.
Officer Mike Stevens with the Los Angeles Police Department responded to a theft in progress call at a Target in Century City on a busy Saturday afternoon. Loss prevention had stopped a woman attempting to leave with $847 worth of unpaid merchandise concealed in shopping bags and a designer tote. What started as a routine shoplifting call turned into a viral body cam video viewed over 8 million times, not because of what the officer did, but because of what the suspect said while literally wearing the evidence of her crime. When Stevens arrived at 3:47 p.m., the woman, later identified as 34-year-old Jennifer Martinez from Van Nuys, was standing near the exit doors, surrounded by nervous store employees, her bags visibly bulging, and the store's anti-theft alarm chirping intermittently. She immediately began shouting that she was being racially profiled and harassed, despite being stopped by a loss prevention officer who shared her same ethnicity, and despite the fact that multiple cameras had documented her removing security tags and concealing merchandise for nearly 25 minutes. The scene when police arrived. The Target store was packed with weekend shoppers, families with carts full of groceries, college students buying dorm supplies, elderly couples browsing, hundreds of customers of every race and background moving through the store without incident. Martinez was the only person stopped that afternoon, and security had very specific reasons why. Loss prevention officer Maria Gonzalez, who had 12 years of experience in retail security, had been monitoring Martinez since she entered the store at 3:24 p.m. She came in with a small crossbody purse, Gonzalez later told police. Within 5 minutes, she had a large designer tote bag that she didn't enter with. That was the first red flag. Then I watched her shopping pattern. She wasn't shopping normally. She was checking sightlines, looking for cameras, moving to corners and blind spots. Store manager David Chen had been called to the security office at 3:35 p.m. when Gonzalez flagged concerning behavior. Together, they watched on multiple camera angles as Martinez systematically worked through different departments: women's clothing, electronics, cosmetics, selecting items, removing them from packaging in areas with limited camera coverage, and stuffing them into her increasingly bulging tote bag. "We have a very clear protocol," Chen explained. "We don't stop someone based on appearance or assumptions. We stop them based on observed behavior captured on video. We need to see them select merchandise, conceal it, maintain continuous observation, and attempt to exit without paying. We had all of that here." By the time Martinez walked past all checkout registers and toward the exit at 3:46 p.m., Gonzalez had documented 23 separate instances of concealment on video. The store's security system tagged her with high confidence as she approached the doors. The anti-theft alarm activated. That's when Gonzalez, following protocol, approached to verify the merchandise. Do you think body cam footage should always be released in cases like this? Drop your answer below. The initial confrontation. Before Officer Stevens even arrived, Martinez had already created a scene. When Gonzalez politely approached and identified herself as loss prevention, Martinez immediately went on the offensive. "Excuse me, ma'am. I'm with Target Security. Our system detected unpaid merchandise. Can I see your receipt?" Martinez spun around, her voice rising immediately. "Are you serious right now? You're stopping me? I see all these people walking out and you stop me?" Gonzalez remained professional. "Ma'am, our alarm system activated when you passed through. I just need to verify your purchases." "This is racial profiling. I'm calling my lawyer. You can't just stop people for no reason." Other shoppers had started to pause, watching the confrontation unfold. A mother, with 2 small children, quickly moved her cart away. A teenage employee stocking shelves nearby looked uncomfortable, unsure whether to intervene or stay back. "Ma'am, this isn't about profiling. Our security system detected—" "I don't care what your system detected. This is discrimination. You're targeting me because of how I look." Manager Chen had come to the front, maintaining distance but ready to support his loss prevention officer. He could see the situation escalating and made the decision to call police. "We have someone refusing to cooperate with a shoplifting investigation. We have video evidence. We need an officer." That's when Stevens got the call. Dispatch reported, "Retail theft in progress. Suspect refusing to cooperate. Loss prevention requesting assistance. Target Century City. Stevens arrived 6 minutes later, his body cam automatically activating as he entered the store. The footage that would later go viral starts with him walking through the automatic. Doors, the camera bouncing slightly with his gait. Harsh fluorescent retail lighting washing out some colors. You can hear the ambient noise of a busy store. Cartwheels, checkout beeps, the faint background music. And underneath it all, a woman's voice already raised in anger. What the body cam captured. The 12-second viral clip doesn't show the full context, but the complete body cam footage reveals a much longer interaction. Stevens approached calmly, his voice measured and professional throughout. "Ma'am, stop right there," he says as he gets within speaking distance. Martinez whips around dramatically, and this is where the viral clip begins. Her body language is animated, aggressive. Her oversized tote bag, a designer knockoff with obvious logos, is visibly bulging, stretched at the seams. A clothing tag dangles from the outside of her purse, swinging as she moves. Her arms are crossed over what appears to be additional merchandise concealed under her jacket. "Why are you stopping me? Because I'm black?" She's loud enough that shoppers 30 feet away turn to look. Stevens doesn't take the bait. His voice remains even, almost bored. "Because you didn't pay for those items." He makes a small gesture toward her bags. As Martinez gestures wildly in response, her tote bag shifts, and the camera clearly captures unpaid merchandise visible through the opening. You can see packaging, tags, the distinctive red bullseye of Target clearance stickers. "These are mine! I brought these in with me." She's waving her arms now, and every movement makes the price tag on her purse swing more noticeably. Some viewers who later watched the footage frame by frame spotted that you can actually read the price. $34.99. Stevens, with perfect deadpan delivery that would make him a viral sensation, simply states, "They still have the store tag on them, ma'am." The camera tilts slightly down, a natural movement as Stevens glances at the evidence literally dangling from her person. In the background, you can see the store employee who'd been watching, her hand over her mouth, eyes wide. This is racial profiling. This is harassment. Martinez's volume has increased again. As she shifts her weight, preparing to possibly make a move toward the door, the anti-theft alarm chirps again, as if on cue. It's this moment, the alarm punctuating her declaration of harassment, that made the video comedy gold for millions of viewers. What actually happened? The full timeline. But the 12-second viral clip doesn't tell the whole story. The complete body cam footage, which runs 47 minutes, shows a much longer interaction that reveals just how patient Stevens remained and how thoroughly Martinez incriminated herself. After the initial exchange, Stevens asked Martinez to step aside so they wouldn't block the entrance. She refused, claiming he was trying to isolate her and violating her rights. Stevens calmly explained that he was simply trying to talk somewhere less disruptive to other customers. "Ma'am, I need you to understand the situation. Loss prevention has video of you concealing merchandise. The alarm system detected unpaid items. I need to verify what you have. You don't have the right to search me. This is America. I have rights." "You're absolutely correct. I cannot search you without your consent or without arresting you. But the store has probable cause to believe you've committed theft. They have video evidence. We can handle this two ways. You can voluntarily show me your bags and receipts right now, or I'll need to detain you and will inventory everything at the station." "I'm not showing you anything. You're harassing me." Stevens glanced at Loss Prevention Officer Gonzalez. "Do you have the footage queued up?" "Yes, officer. We have 23 minutes of continuous footage showing selection and concealment of merchandise." This is when Martinez's story started to change. Initially, she'd claimed the items were hers, and she'd brought them into the store. Now, she pivoted. "I was going to pay for those. I just hadn't gotten to the register yet." Stevens noted the inconsistency. "Ma'am, you told me a minute ago these were items you brought into the store with you. Now you're saying you were going to pay for them. Which is it?" I don't have to answer your questions. I want a lawyer." "You're welcome to have a lawyer, but that's for criminal proceedings. Right now, we're addressing whether you have unpaid merchandise. The alarm went off. You attempted to leave. We have video of you concealing items. These are facts." Should stores always press charges when there's video evidence? Let me know what you think. Martinez tried another tactic. I have a medical condition that makes me forget things. This is discrimination against people with disabilities. Stevens remained patient. Ma'am, if you have a documented medical condition that affects your memory, that's something you can address with your attorney in the court. But right now, I need to address the immediate situation. You have unpaid merchandise and you attempted to leave the store. How do you know it's unpaid? Did you scan every item? Maybe I have receipts. Do you have receipts? That's none of your business. At this point, the body cam shows Stevens making the decision. Ma'am, based on the alarm activation, the loss prevention observation, the visible evidence of unpaid merchandise, and your refusal to cooperate, I'm placing you under arrest for suspected retail theft. Arrest? For what? I didn't do anything. As Stevens moved to handcuff her, the tote bag she was clutching opened further. The camera captured the interior. Packages of makeup, electronics still in anti-theft cases, clothing with tags attached. It was a decisive moment captured on film. Ma'am, I need you to put your hands behind your back. This is police brutality. I'm being attacked. Stevens hadn't touched her yet except to guide her hands into position for handcuffs. His voice remained measured. Ma'am, you are not being attacked. You are being arrested based on evidence of theft. I need you to comply. I'm going to sue. I'm going to sue the store. I'm going to sue you. I'm going to sue the whole department. As he placed her in handcuffs, the body cam recorded every moment, his hands visible in frame, his movements deliberate and professional, her continued protestations about racism and harassment, and in the background, the steady chirp of the anti-theft alarm still detecting unpaid merchandise. The evidence once Martinez was secured in handcuffs, Stevens inventoried the contents of her bags right there in the store, with the body cam recording every item and loss prevention confirming each one against their footage. From the designer tote bag, 4 pairs of designer jeans, tags removed but still attached with plastic security pins, $97.50 each, total $389. 1 Bluetooth speaker in original packaging with security tag, $129.99. 1 set of wireless earbuds in anti-theft case, $148. High-end face cream, La Mer, security tag removed, $95. Designer makeup palette still sealed, $61. 3 shirts, tags removed, stuffed in the bottom, $124 total. From her purse, smaller cosmetics items, various brands, $87 total. Phone accessories still in packaging, $43, vitamins and supplements, $76 concealed under her jacket, a leather jacket, tags removed, $189. Every single item matched Target's inventory. Every single item appeared on the security footage that loss prevention had compiled. The total value, $1,542.49. This was significantly higher than the $847 initially estimated. Martinez had been far more successful in her concealment than loss prevention had originally observed. Stevens read her Miranda rights. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. Even as he read her rights, Martinez continued talking. This is fake. You planted this stuff. I've never seen any of this before. The body cam had literally just recorded each item being removed from bags she was carrying, but she continued to deny any knowledge of them. The transport and station processing. The body cam footage continues in Stevens's patrol car. Martinez, handcuffed in the back seat, spent the entire 18-minute drive to the station talking and incriminating herself further. I can't believe this is happening to me. I was just shopping. I'm a good person. I go to church. Stevens, driving calmly, occasionally responded to keep her talking, a common technique that often leads suspects to provide additional information. How often do you shop at Target? All the time. I'm there like 3 times a week. I'm a loyal customer. This is how they treat loyal customers? Do you usually bring your own bags when you shop? Yeah, of course. I'm environmentally conscious. Not that you would care about the environment. The tote bag you had today, did you bring that from home? There was a long pause. Yes, obviously. But the security footage which Stevens had been told about showed Martinez didn't enter with that bag. She'd later grabbed it from a shelf in the accessories department. something the footage clearly documented. At the station, processing revealed more interesting details. When they inventoried her personal belongings, they found $1,247 in cash in her wallet, 3 credit cards, all in her name, none reported stolen, a debit card linked to an account with $3,400 balance, later verified. She wasn't stealing because she couldn't afford to pay. She was stealing because she wanted to. The security footage review. At the station, Stevens reviewed the complete security footage with the district attorney's office representative. The footage was damning and detailed. 3:24 p.m. Martinez enters Target with a small crossbody purse. She's wearing jeans, a t-shirt, and a light jacket. No shopping bags, no tote. 3:27 p.m. She walks to the accessories department, browses, then picks up a large designer-style tote bag from a shelf. She doesn't take it to a register. She opens it and starts using it as her shopping bag. The security tag is still attached to the tote itself. 3:31 p.m. Women's clothing department. She selects 4 pairs of jeans, checks the sizes, looks around, then moves to a corner with limited camera coverage. When she emerges, the jeans are no longer visible in her hands, but the tote bag appears fuller. 3:38 p.m. Electronics department. She spends several minutes looking at Bluetooth speakers and earbuds. She picks up items, examines them, puts them back. Then she selects a speaker and earbuds, walks to an aisle end cap, positions herself so her body blocks the camera view, and when she moves, the items are gone, but her tote is bulkier. 3:42 p.m. Cosmetics. This is where she spent the most time and was most blatant. The footage shows her selecting high-end skincare items. La Mer, Estée Lauder, Clinique. She removes some items from boxes, pockets some, puts others in the tote. At one point, she looks directly up at a camera, seems to calculate its angle, then moves slightly to the side to block the view while she conceals more items. 3:49 p.m. Women's clothing again. She picks up a leather jacket, holds it up as if examining the size, then drapes it over her arm. She walks to a fitting room area but doesn't enter a room. She goes to a corner near the fitting rooms where there's a camera blind spot. When she emerges, she's wearing the jacket under her original jacket. The bulge is obvious. 3:52 p.m. She walks through seasonal items, home goods, then circles back through electronics, seemingly checking if anyone is following her. 3:56 p.m. She heads toward the front of the store. She walks past 12. Open checkout lanes. She walks past self-checkout. She walks directly toward the exit. 3:57 p.m. The security gates activate. The alarm chirps. She hesitates for just a moment, then continues walking as if she doesn't hear it. 3:57 p.m. Loss Prevention Officer Gonzalez intercepts her just outside the door. The footage was continuous, clear, and unambiguous. At no point did Martinez attempt to pay for anything. At no point did she approach a register. She never reached for her wallet, which had over $1,200 in it. She never pulled out one of her 3 credit cards. She deliberately concealed merchandise, deliberately avoided cameras, and deliberately attempted to exit without paying. Do you think security cameras in stores violate privacy, or are they necessary? Comment below. The changing stories. What made Martinez's case particularly notable was how many different explanations she offered, each contradicting the last. The body cam and station interview footage captured all of them. Story 1. These are my items. I brought them into the store with me. This was contradicted by her entering without the tote bag, and by the items having current Target price tags and security devices. Story 2. I was going to pay for them. I just hadn't made it to the register yet. This was contradicted by the fact that she'd walked past all registers and was exiting the store when stopped. Story 3. I have a medical condition that makes me forget things. This was contradicted by the footage showing deliberate concealment, checking for cameras and moving to blind spots. Story 4. I didn't know they were in my bag. Someone must have put them there. This was contradicted by 23 minutes of footage showing her personally selecting and concealing each item. Story 5. The store is lying. That's not me on the footage. This was contradicted by continuous footage from entry to exit, clearly showing her face and matching her clothing, an appearance exactly. Story 6. This is all because I'm black. They targeted me for my race. This was contradicted by the loss prevention officer being Latina, the store manager being Asian, the diverse customer base shopping without incident, and the specific behavioral indicators that triggered surveillance. During her interview at the station, Martinez cycled through these explanations multiple times, sometimes within the same breath. At one point, she claimed she was being framed because she'd previously filed a complaint about poor customer service at a different Target store 3 years ago. They have a database. They track people who complain. This is retaliation. The detective interviewing her paused. Ma'am, you're saying Target tracked you for 3 years because you complained about customer service, and today they framed you by making you steal $1,500 worth of merchandise that we have you on camera selecting and concealing. Yes! Exactly! Finally! Someone understands. The detective and Stevens exchanged a look off camera. The interview continued, and Martinez continued to provide contradictory statements, each one making her case worse. The court case Martinez was charged with grand theft, stealing merchandise valued over $950, which in California elevates the charge from misdemeanor to felony. She was also charged with commercial burglary, since she'd entered the store with the intent to commit theft. Her public defender, Marcus Rodriguez, had a difficult case. The evidence was overwhelming. 23 minutes of continuous security footage, officer body cam footage, loss prevention testimony, receipts showing none of the recovered merchandise had been paid for, physical evidence. All items recovered matched Target inventory. Martinez's own contradictory statements. Rodriguez attempted to negotiate a plea deal, but Martinez refused. She insisted on going to trial, confident she could convince a jury that she'd been racially profiled despite all evidence to the contrary. The trial lasted 3 days. The prosecution presented their case methodically. Day 1, security footage. The jury watched the complete 23-minute compilation showing Martinez entering, selecting, concealing, and attempting to exit. The prosecutor paused at key moments to highlight consciousness of guilt. Martinez checking for cameras, moving to blind spots, walking past registers. Day 2, testimony. Loss prevention officer Gonzalez testified about Target's theft prevention protocols, explaining how they determine when to stop someone. We don't stop people based on how they look. We stop them based on what we observe them do. We need to see them select merchandise, conceal it, maintain continuous observation, and attempt to leave without paying. In this case, we had all of that documented on multiple cameras. Store manager Chen testified about the alarm system. Our electronic article surveillance system detected unpaid merchandise. It's not a perfect system. Sometimes it gives false positives from items that were paid for but didn't get deactivated properly. But in this case, when we investigated, we found extensive concealed merchandise. Officer Stevens testified about the arrest, his body cam footage playing for the jury. Several jury members were seen trying to suppress smiles during the part where Martinez insisted the items were hers while price tags visibly dangled from her bags. Day 3. Defense and closing arguments. Rodriguez did his best, arguing that Martinez had mental health issues that affected her judgment and memory. He presented a psychologist who testified about kleptomania and cognitive disorders. But on cross-examination, the prosecutor demolished this defense. Doctor, you diagnosed Ms. Martinez with kleptomania based on one interview. But kleptomania is characterized by taking items of little value, driven by impulse, not careful planning. Does kleptomania typically involve checking for cameras, moving to blind spots, and selectively stealing high-value items while leaving cheaper alternatives? The psychologist admitted those behaviors would be atypical for kleptomania. And doctor, you're aware that Ms. Martinez had $1,247 in cash and 3 credit cards in her possession at the time of arrest? I was not aware of that. Does someone with kleptomania typically steal despite having ample means to pay? It can occur, yes, but it would be unusual in this context. The prosecution's closing argument was simple. Ladies and gentlemen, this case is not complicated. You've seen 23 minutes of footage showing the defendant deliberately stealing. You've seen her change her story multiple times. You've heard her false accusation of racism, despite being stopped by a Latina officer for documented theft. She wants you to believe she's a victim. The real victims are the store that lost merchandise, the customers whose prices go up because of theft, and the legitimate victims of actual racial profiling whose cases are undermined by false accusations like this. The jury deliberated for 73 minutes. Guilty on both counts. At sentencing, Martinez addressed the court. Even then, she maintained her innocence. "Your Honor, I am a good person. I made a mistake, but I'm not a criminal. I was targeted because of my race, and now I'm being punished because I spoke up about it. This system is broken." Judge Patricia Morrison, who happened to be a black woman, looked at Martinez with an expression of exhaustion. "Ms. Martinez, I've reviewed all the evidence in this case. I've watched the security footage. I've watched the body cam footage. I've read the transcript of your interview. You were not targeted because of your race. You were stopped because security observed you stealing. You were arrested because you had $1,500 worth of unpaid merchandise in your possession." The judge continued, "What troubles me most about this case is your continued insistence that you're a victim of racial profiling. Real racial profiling exists. It's a serious problem. But when people like you make false accusations to deflect from your own criminal behavior, you make it harder for real victims to be believed. You undermine legitimate cases. That, to me, is perhaps more troubling than the theft itself." Martinez received 3 years of formal probation, 180 days in county jail, with credit for time served and work furlough eligibility, $5,000 fine, restitution to Target, $1,542.49 for stolen merchandise, additional $2,300 in court costs and fees, 240 hours of community service, mandatory counseling for theft behavior, banned from all Target stores nationwide for 10 years. The judge also imposed a special condition. As part of your community service, you will participate in a program educating people about the impact of retail theft. You will hear from store employees who've lost their jobs. Because of theft losses, you will learn about how theft affects prices and availability for everyone, and perhaps you'll gain some perspective. Should shoplifters face jail time, or are fines and probation enough? Let me know what you think. The viral aftermath. The body cam footage was released through a public records request by a local news station 6 months after the trial concluded. A social media account that specializes in police body cam videos posted the 12-second clip with the caption, "When you commit retail theft, but you took a criminal justice class once." The video exploded overnight. 8.4 million views in the first 48 hours, 367,000 shares, 89,000 comments. The comments section became its own form of entertainment. The alarm chirping while she yells, "Harassment is chef's kiss." 94,000 likes. She's committing crimes while wearing the evidence and still thinks she's being profiled. 76,000 likes. Officer, they still have the store tag on them. I screamed. 68,000 likes. Every time she moves, more evidence appears. It's like a magic trick in reverse. 54,000 likes. Shout out to the Target employee in the background with her hand over her mouth. 47,000 likes. The way she says, "These are mine," while a price tag literally swings from her purse. 89,000 likes. Retail workers flooded the comments with their own experiences. "I worked loss prevention for 6 years. This happens weekly." People scream racism while literally holding unpaid merchandise. 12,000 likes. As a black retail worker, false accusations like this make our jobs harder and undermine real discrimination cases. 31,000 likes. The number of times I've had people claim profiling when we have them on 4K video is insane. 19,000 likes. Law enforcement accounts chimed in. "That officer's patience is superhuman. The way he stays calm while she's screaming." 8,000 likes. Body cams protect officers from false accusations and document exactly what happened. This is why we need them. 22,000 likes. Even some civil rights advocates weighed in with nuanced takes. "Racial profiling in retail is real and it's a serious problem. But this ain't it. This is documented theft with video evidence. False accusations hurt legitimate victims." 15,000 likes. The video was shared by police training accounts as an example of professional conduct under pressure. It was shared by loss prevention training programs as an example of proper protocols. It was shared by retail worker support groups as validation of what they deal with daily. Several parody videos emerged, with people recreating the scenario in humorous ways. One TikToker created a series where she progressively added more ridiculous items while insisting, "These are mine." Another creator made a version where every time Martinez said something incriminating, a cartoon evidence stamp appeared on screen. Even Martinez's lawyer made a statement to the press, While I represented my client zealously as required by my professional duties, I would advise everyone watching that video to learn from it. Body cams and security cameras don't lie, and making false accusations undermines real victims of discrimination. The broader context. This case highlighted several important issues that extended far beyond one shoplifting incident. 1. The reality of retail theft. According to the National Retail Federation's 2023 survey, retail theft costs American businesses $112.1 billion annually. Organized retail crime has increased 26.5% year over year. 88% of retailers report theft has become more aggressive and violent. The average retailer loses 1.6% of revenue to theft, which sounds small until you realize that's often their entire profit margin. Target specifically has been hit hard. The company closed 9 stores in major cities in 2023, citing unsustainable theft losses. In their statement, they noted, "We cannot continue operating stores where theft and organized retail crime threaten the safety of our team and guests." 2. False accusations and real discrimination. The Martinez case became a talking point in discussions about racial profiling because it demonstrated how false accusations harm real victims. Dr. Shayla Thompson, a sociologist who studies retail discrimination, noted, "Racial profiling in retail settings is well documented and harmful. Black and Latino shoppers are followed more often, questioned more frequently, and stopped at higher rates even when they're not engaging in any suspicious behavior. But cases like Martinez's, where someone clearly guilty makes false accusations, give cover to people who want to deny that real profiling exists. It's deeply frustrating because it undermines legitimate cases." The NAACP released a statement, "We fight every day against actual racial profiling, which is a serious civil rights violation. But we cannot and will not defend people who use false accusations of racism to deflect from criminal behavior. Doing so would betray actual victims and undermine our credibility." 3. The role of technology. The Martinez case was solved by technology, multiple security cameras, theft detection systems, and police body cams all working together to document exactly what happened. Security expert James Rodriguez explained, "Modern retail security isn't about following people based on hunches or biases. It's about technology and behavioral indicators. We track merchandise with tags. We monitor with cameras. We use algorithms to detect unusual patterns. Loss prevention officers are trained to observe specific behaviors. Concealment, checking for cameras, walking past registers. Race doesn't enter into it. But technology also raises privacy concerns. Civil liberties advocates note that the same cameras that caught Martinez also record everyone who shops. Innocent people going about their business. The balance between security and privacy remains contentious, but cases like Martinez's show why retailers feel they need extensive surveillance systems. 4. The economics of theft. Many people don't understand how retail theft affects everyone. When stores lose $112 billion annually to theft, prices increase for everyone to cover the losses. Stores close in communities where theft is too high, creating retail deserts. Employees lose jobs when stores become unprofitable. Products get locked behind security cases, making shopping inconvenient. Insurance rates increase, further raising costs. Target estimated that in stores with high theft, they spend $40,000 to $120,000 annually just on security measures, guards, cameras, security cases. That cost gets passed to customers through higher prices. 5. The psychology of shoplifters experts note that shoplifters often exhibit specific psychological patterns. Rationalization. The store has insurance. Or, they make millions, they won't miss it. Entitlement. I deserve this. Or, they charge too much anyway. Thrill-seeking. The adrenaline rush of stealing. Deflection. When caught blaming others rather than taking responsibility, Martinez exhibited several of these patterns. Despite having over $1,200 in cash and 3 credit cards, she chose to steal. When caught, she immediately deflected blame, first claiming the items were hers, then claiming profiling, then claiming a medical condition, then claiming a conspiracy. Psychologist Dr. Andrea Martinez, no relation, explained, "Serial shoplifters often have a cognitive distortion where they don't see themselves as criminals. They're beating the system, or getting what they deserve. When confronted with evidence, they can't accept responsibility because it would shatter their self-image. So they create elaborate justifications. Conspiracy theories, false accusations, medical excuses, anything to avoid admitting they made a choice to steal. What happened after? A year after her conviction, Jennifer Martinez completed her probation successfully. She served 90 days in jail with work furlough, paid all her fines and restitution, and completed her community service hours. Her community service supervisor at a nonprofit that works with at-risk youth reported, Jennifer was resistant at first, maintaining she was a victim. But after hearing from store workers who'd been assaulted by shoplifters and learning about how theft impacts communities, she started to show genuine remorse. By the end, she was actually a good volunteer. Martinez provided a statement through her attorney. I made terrible choices and then made them worse by not taking responsibility. I'm embarrassed by my behavior and by the false accusations I made. I hurt real victims of discrimination by crying wolf. I'm working to be better. The viral video, however, follows her. A simple Google search of her name brings up the body cam footage. Future employers will see it. Future landlords will see it. It's a permanent record of her worst moment, viewed millions of times. Officer Stevens continues working for LAPD. The body cam footage is now used in training. This is an example of how to remain professional when someone is making false accusations. Don't take the bait. Document everything. Let the evidence speak. Target updated their security protocols based partly on this case, implementing more robust camera systems and better training for loss prevention officers on how to handle accusations of profiling while maintaining security. Loss Prevention Officer Gonzalez received recognition from her company for her professional handling of the situation and her detailed documentation that made prosecution possible. The lessons. What can we learn from the Martinez case? For shoppers, understand that security measures exist because theft is a massive problem. If you're legitimately shopping, you have nothing to fear from security cameras. If you are stopped, cooperate and the situation will resolve. Quickly if you've done nothing wrong. Don't make false accusations. They harm real victims and destroy your credibility. For retailers, technology and documentation protect against false accusations. Training staff on proper protocols prevents discrimination and protects the business. Body cams and security footage are worth the investment. Treat everyone with respect while maintaining security. For law enforcement, body cams protect officers from false accusations. Staying calm and professional, even when falsely accused, is critical. Let evidence do the talking. Patience pays off. Rushing makes mistakes. For society, real discrimination exists and must be fought. False accusations undermine that fight and harm real victims. Technology can help document truth. Accountability matters for criminals and for those who falsely accuse. Comment if you think body cam footage should always be public record. And if you want more wild body cam stories, hit that subscribe button. The Martinez case is a perfect storm of modern issues: retail theft, technology, false accusations, social media virality, and the justice system. The 12-second clip that went viral is entertaining, but the full story reveals much deeper issues about crime, accountability, and truth. In the end, the body cam footage did exactly what it was supposed to do. It documented the truth. Martinez wasn't profiled because of her race. She was stopped because she stole. The alarm chirping while she claimed harassment wasn't irony. It was evidence. The price tags swinging while she claimed ownership weren't unlucky. They were proof. Sometimes the truth is caught on camera. Sometimes justice is served. And sometimes the person screaming the loudest about being victimized is actually the perpetrator caught red-handed. That's what made this video go viral. Not because it was funny, though the unintentional comedy helped, but because it was true. Real body cam footage. Real consequences. Real accountability. And in an age where so much is disputed, manipulated, or denied, watching clear evidence play out in real time feels almost revolutionary. That's the power of body cam footage. That's why these stories matter. And that's why 8 million people watched a 12-second clip of a woman incriminating herself while claiming she was the victim. Because sometimes the truth is just that obvious.